Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever cast of FitzRupee cast. This is my first official episode. I've got a few other practice episodes listed on my channel, so feel free to stop by there. I've got them all arranged in nice, neat little playlists. I'm going to introduce you to our map today, the frozen, forgotten installation that is Ice Station Obelis. We've got a match featuring Spirit as our Space Marine Force Commander, and Smaet as our Chaos Space Marine Plague Champion. So let's get this game started right here. We're on Ice Station Obelis, of course. The map layout, a lot of tight corridors, I feel. You can see everything's kind of just falls into choke points at the various spots around the center victory point. The only real open areas being those in front of each player's power farm and the center point here. Everything else very linear, very straight and narrow. You can see Spirit moving right in here on the far outside victory point there, and choosing to get a second squad of scouts right off the bat here, and following that up with his tactical Space Marines. Meanwhile, Smaet did the other route and got his Chaos Tax first, followed by his second squad of Chaos Heretics. Pretty standard capping order so far, both players just taking their natural reckon power and grabbing the nearest victory point. No one getting a hold on the center spot yet. Looks like Smaet's gonna move in and go for that. Other than that, we can see our first little skirmish here. Excellent unit awareness on Spirit's behalf there, instantly moving those scouts back, keeping them out of range, and again immediately turning back around to engage those heretics, playing a little bit of cat and mouse there. A little harass, turn around, take some shots, fall back. Really, you can see he was just buying some time there to get his tactical marines in position to deal with these heretics. Meanwhile, the force commander's taken quite a few salvos from the Plague Champ, but has managed to capture the power and then move in and get him into melee. The Plague Champion's not going to be able to deal with that. And it looks like Spirit's gone ahead and pushed back the first encounter and managed to get himself some pretty good map control here right off the bat. Going to be able to get maybe all 3 victory points for a quick triple cap and bleed off some of those VPs nice and early in this match. Both players have popped their power nodes. Spirit dropping an extra generator. Going to have a slight power advantage here considering he has the other 2 power points themselves as it is. The Force Commander falling under fire here and getting surrounded by some Chaos Heretics. Pops his battle cry, and oh my goodness, there's a great special attack knocking a bunch of those Heretics right on their backs before he escapes out of there. Probably prevented himself a good deal of retreat damage by doing that. Good play on Spirit's part. And Smaet really moving in here. Gonna get a little heals on his Plague Marine. Always good to use this Heretic Worship to get that heal going whenever you can. Meanwhile, Spirit has the scouts backcapping this requisition right in front of Smaet's base, and they're going to get out of there immediately after the decap. I like this positioning here. You see this a lot with Plague Champions. They'll use that healing worship and just keep those heretics out of the line of sight, but still able to support the forward troops. And that was just a good move on his part. The second heretic squad, of course, moving in and pushing back these tactical Space Marines. They had to withdraw. An aspiring champion on those heretics there, and meanwhile the Plague Champ is gonna go ahead and grab that top victory point. You can see obviously right off the bat Spirit did get quite a good victory point boost off of that first engagement. Really using his Force Commander in conjunction with 1 or 2 other squads. He's had good positioning so far, been able to support his squads with whatever else is nearby, and keeping his Force Commander constantly moving around and harassing here. He's opted to get himself Artificer armor over the Armor of Alacrity, choosing to go for the tankier, longer field presence with the regen and extra health over the speed that Alacrity offers. Those scouts fall back as the Assault Space Marines jump in, and the Heretics aren't going to be able to deal with that on their own. They're going to drop that Doom Blast and try to gain some distance. You can see these players never really retreating when they don't have to. If they can fall back without retreating and ceding that map control, they will. Unfortunately, the ASMs do use their second jump and go ahead and force those Heretics right off the map. Looks like Spirit's also gotten himself a sergeant for his scouts, bringing a grenade onto the field. And meanwhile, you can see both generator farms at full capacity. Both players are going to be probably blazing into Tier 2 as soon as they can. Looks like Smaet has also chosen to requisition himself a squad of Havoc Chaos Space Marines, the heavy weapons team, offering some suppression and probably some pretty good map control. As I mentioned earlier, this map has a lot of narrow, tight corridors, so it makes flanking a little difficult, because if, for instance, if they were set up here, you'd have to flank all the way around. So as you can see, not really doing too much, just locking down an area in front of his base right there. Probably waiting for an opportune time to move those up into a position that can cause some benefit. Scouts capping some points up here, and it looks like Spirit might be trying to make a little push onto the power farm right now. ASM's jumping in on the Chaos Heretic squad right now, with the supporting fire of the Tactical Space Marines, going to make short work of those heretics, even with the aspiring champion. Meanwhile, they're trying to buy time and move around, suppress these Tactical Marines, while the Havoc gets set into position, and a nice play by Smaet. Really just perfect timing on that. Managed to use those heretics. He didn't retreat them, lost a couple miles, but he knew that this Havoc was coming in and gonna be able to support that push there and repel the impending power bash there. You can see Smaet is gonna go ahead and tech up to Tier 2. Alright, and we can see now going ahead and backcapping, but it looks like the scouts are gonna engage this Devastator. Meanwhile, not really gonna do much damage. They're gonna lose that melee fight. Possibly waiting on the Force Commander to come give him a hand. Getting out of there just before losing model. Let's see what's going on. Looks like he's going to charge in with the Force Commander, try to get in before they set up, but it's not going to be quick enough. He did get that grenade off, it looks like. And 1, 2, 3, boom, there he goes. Oh, that was another good play by Spirit. He used those scouts with perfect timing to delay until the Force Commander got on the field with the scout grenade and was able to take that Havoc out and go ahead and get the decap on this wreck point. He's got a pretty good lead on the VPs, about 100 points. Neither side has taken any kind of major losses here. It's been pretty good back and forth, with Spirit being on top of the map control. Although Smaet is a bit ahead in the tech here. You can see already Tier 2 and grabbing himself a set of bloodletters, while Spirit is just now getting to the tech. Spirit probably spending a bit more power than Smaet did in the beginning of the game here. With his, let's see, he got Commander War Gear, his Sergeant, and his Assault Marines, of course, costing quite a bit of power. Now Smaet's going to move out with his first Tier 2 purchase and try to really push back here and get this map back in his own favor. You can see the Havoc's just setting up in support of the bloodletters in case anything jumps in here. But all in all, it looks like Spirit went ahead and his first Tier 2 upgrade is going to be the Sergeant on his Assault Space Marines. Core Marines upgraded here, going in and going to be chopping away at these scouts with the power axes, realizing they're not going to deal with that. The Force Commander's also gone ahead and pimped himself out with a nice pimp cape and his Thunder Hammer, causing some excellent AoE knockdown once he activates his Battle Cry and his Teleporter Pack, which will be great disruption for that Havoc squad. Kind of moving around in a big pile here, getting ready to push in on this power farm. Gonna try to put some pressure on Smaet and keep the map in his favor. Smaet's gonna have to play this carefully to keep this power farm in his hands. You can see the demons obviously going to be supported by the worship of the heretics, the Plague Champ worship obviously getting some extra HP regen, and the demons of course themselves getting HP and energy from worship as it is. There's the worship in the back. This is really what you don't want to see. He's got a lot of powerful melee. He's got the Corn Marines and the Bloodletters supported by worship and a Havoc in the back. Really good setup. Hard for Spirit to counter that right off the bat. And he's ultimately going to have to fall back and try a different angle. Spirit's going to hang back and regroup there. Smaet did a pretty great job of subduing that imminent generator bash right there. Not getting any tier 2 squads, but just completely upgrading all of his tier 1 units, as Space Marine tends to do. He's gotten sergeants and plasma rifles on his tanks, and got the Sarge, as I mentioned before, on his assault Space Marines. Smaet now going to summon himself a Blood Crusher from the warp, and bring that onto the field, maybe forcing Spear to change it up and get a little bit more of an AV option. It's probably going to force Spear to switch over to his Power Fist over his current Thunderhammer, and probably get Thunder and Lightning on his assault Space Marines to deal with that Blood Crusher. There's a lot of blood things in the Chaos Army. Meanwhile, these heretics look like they're going to go ahead and hack down this power node in the meantime. Although Spirit is relatively close enough, he should be able to stop that push there. Smaet just kind of hanging back right now. Probably could move this Devastator up. He should probably be moving on the victory points, as he's nearing a now 200-point deficit here on victory points. Spirit really been able to control the map very well. Just been having some splendid maneuvering and positioning here, all in all, throughout the game. So here comes the big pile of chaos. Looks like this is going to cause some trouble. Looks like, oh, I missed what looks like a pretty good scout retreat grenade there. Unfortunately, Blood Crusher charges right in, scares off the Force Commander. He's not going to be able to deal with that. Heretic sneaking out there, forgot to reinforce, only the champion on them. And just a mass retreat by Spirit. Gonna fall back. He's purchasing a Dreadnought now to really put the hurt on that Blood Crusher. And I guess he's gonna fall back to his generator farm and wait for that. Probably needs to get out there now and stop this Gen Bash. I'm not sure if he intends, Smaet intends to move in with more or just leave the Blood Crusher there to harass.
Understood.
See what we have elsewhere on the map right now. Here comes Spirit, getting ready to push off that Blood Crusher, immediately repurchasing that generator. Doesn't want to fall behind in power on this. It looks like there's an excellent jump and a teleport. Gonna push those Havocs right back. Doesn't want those getting set up and cause any disruption on his ranged power here. It does fall back, losing a member, but is going to be able to get set up and suppress. He's going to fall back to the support of his Dreadnought. The Khorne Marines and Bloodletters all moving in here. Just an excellent push by Smaet here. Just really a melee massacre right now. That Dreadnought already down to about half HP between the Bloodletters. Khorne Marines moved in a bit too close there, got suppressed by the turret. He must have lost track of those, but they are going to get out of there with only one model loss. Bit of a mistake there, didn't need to lose those right now. Looks like this power farm is pretty much going to get decimated. Not much he's going to be able to do about that. The Plague Champion, as you can see, also getting decked out here with the Plague Fist, the Armor of Pestilence, and the Icon of Nurgle, really making him an obnoxious melee tank. I see that build pretty often. It's slow, but it's tanky and can cause a lot of disruption between the Plague Strike, Pestilence Strike, and the damage over time that the Icon does. You can see that Force Commander just now switched weapons on the fly. I was correct, he does change that Power Fist, and he's just gonna pound away at this retreating Blood Crusher right now. It is getting the HP regen off of this warship now. Force Commander is going to teleport and try to get another couple strikes on that, but ultimately I'm pretty sure that's going to get away. Yeah, the Bloodletters are coming in, going to scare off that Force Commander. He needs to get out of there. Very high DPS unit, the Bloodletters, of course.